Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to my video. So basically, I am stuck at the park right now. I did some work with the van today, picked some stuff up, dropped some stuff off. There's a park nearby, so I went to the park and just to stretch out, got back in my van, trying to start up, and nothing. Nothing. So basically, I was like, okay, probably nothing serious. Because I had this issue like about a month ago. I was like, probably not a serious thing. Because I managed to get my van started uh, after trying to crank it up about 10 times, cranked up. And I haven't had an issue since. So today, it's the first time since then that I've had this issue. So I was like, maybe it's the battery, right? Maybe it's the battery. So I turned on my headlights, went out just to see, how bright the headlights were, and the headlights were pretty bright. So I'm like, is it the battery? Is it like I couldn't tell. I can tell, but I did check the terminals just to make sure they weren't corroded. There was just to make sure there wasn't any kind of But I did see a lot of like whitish bluish stuff on there. So I had a wire brush. My terminals weren't like very very tight. They were tight enough to hold on to the cables were tight enough to hold on to the terminals on my battery, but they weren't super tight. So I just wiggled it around, took it off, took a wire brush, brushed it off, brushed up the terminal. I had a can of Coke, pour some Coke on there, clean it out really good, put the terminals back, and I was crossing my fingers, hoping that it would be an easy fix. Try to turn my van. Nothing happened. So at that point, I was like, okay, maybe the terminals were corroded and the alternator wasn't charging it right. So I took out my trusty booster pack that I bought from Walmart. I charged it up to 100%. It was like a couple of weeks ago. I bought it because of this situation. I bought it because of the last situation. But I bought it just in case this situation came up. Put the power pack on, cables on, try to start it. Nothing happened. So at that point, I knew that it's probably a bigger situation than just the battery, because if it was, I could just Uber to a Walmart nearby, pick one up, and just pop it in. But that's not the case here. Unfortunately, that's not the case here. So I'm like, okay, it's about to get dark, and I got to think of something real fast. So I'm going down the list of things that it could be. Maybe it could be the alternator, possibly. So I was thinking maybe it's the alternator. So I was thinking, and I realized that my car is not starting, and it wasn't on because I went out, took a stretch, did a little walk around here and there, came back. My car wasn't on. It was shut off. I shut my car off when I did that. I shut my van off when I did that. Anyway, so I was thinking to myself, okay, it's probably not the alternator, because when I jumped it, doing a test with jumping it. Now, this power pack wasn't made for a van this big, but there was enough juice in the battery where I could just pop this power pack on, and even if it wasn't powerful enough, I should have had at least it should have at least cranked a little bit, a slow crank, something like that, just to tell me um maybe it was the battery. But here's the thing with the alternator test. With the alternator, it should have just cranked up, and here's how you test out the alternator. Once you put some cables on it, it should crank up, it should run. But once you take the cables off, it'll die out because the alternator is not charging the battery, it's not charging the car. That's not the situation here, because my car was not on. I turned it off and came back in, turned it back on. Nothing happened with this van. So okay. So I'm like, okay, let's check out some other stuff, because I'm hearing a click. It's hearing a click. So maybe it's the fuses relays, possibly fuses or relay. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe it's a fuse or a relay. So I'm thinking to myself, how do I check that? So I was looking for, took the cover off the fuse box, looking for the starter relay, and there's no way I can test it. I know there's YouTube videos on how to test it from where the relay is, but here's what I did. I actually took one of the relays off of another, for something else in the box. I took that off, and then I swapped out the relays. And I was hoping that would actually cause it to start. Didn't start. Did not start. So that pretty much sucks. All right. So at that point, I was thinking to myself, okay, let's move down the list as far as I got the fuse box open up. Maybe it's one of the fuses that's a problem. I was looking at it, just trying to check out whether to see any of the fuses were blown. I didn't see any blown fuses, so I was thinking to myself, how do I test this out? But I thought about the situations where, I've had with the cars that I've had that had situations problems starting that had issues with the fuse. And there's only 2 times that happened. One was with a Honda Odyssey, where the fuse, the main fuse blew. The main fuse blew, and I was getting no electricity in that van, and just by switching it out, I got electricity. I had electricity, and I was able to start it. Everything worked fine. All right. Unfortunately, that's not the situation here. That's not the situation here because on this van, I'm not able. Unfortunately, I'm getting electricity, but I'm just not able to crank it up, which is it's a whole different situation. So I know the main fuse is not broken, is not blown. So maybe it could be something else with the fuse, though. So the other situation I had with the fuse was, it was a car that I had. It was an Infinity. It was either Infinity or a Lexus. I'm not sure. I've had a couple of cars, but anyway, I tried that situation. My car was able to crank up, but I wasn't able to get it to turn over, meaning that I just wasn't able to start up and keep it running. It was cranking. It just wasn't able to start up and keep it running. Okay, that situation was a problem with the fuse that was blown. That was a fuse for either the I forget what it was, but either the ECU or the car's computer or the fuel pump. Either one of those situations. That was a while ago. But that's not the situation here, because this situation here, I can't even crank at all. This van is not cranking at all. So I can say that it's probably not one of those 2 situations. I mean, it could still be one of the fuses, but I'm not seeing anything weird with the fuses as far as it being blown and stuff like that. So from there, I was like, okay, it's probably a starter, right? I mean, that would be normally your first thing, because I've had starter issues before, and this is pretty much the same situation as all the issues I've had with starters on previous vehicles and stuff like that. However, I can't, 100%, I can't, say that's the case. But I did do one test. I did have a long crowbar, and I did try to bump the starter a couple of times, try to start it, and nothing happened. So I mean, that's not saying a lot. Sometimes if there's starter problem, it'll start up. Sometimes I don't know. But I tried doing that trick, and that trick didn't actually work. So that kind of sucks. So basically, I am here waiting for AAA to pick up my van. It's getting kind of dark. I'm gonna be out here for at least an hour, hour and a half, knowing how, these tow truck drivers, they're gonna take their time getting here. But I'm end up making this video just for anybody else who's in this situation. I'm gonna keep you guys updated once I get this back to location, and I'm gonna work on it, do some tests, definitive tests, just to make sure that everything. I'm gonna redo all the tests that I did before, because at this point I am kind of at a loss to it. Maybe not, but these situations, you just gotta test out everything, just to make sure, just to see that just to make sure you have the exact reason why, what's causing this situation. All right, I'm gonna keep you guys updated. Guess what? It took them 3 hours. It took them 3 freaking hours. It took them 3 hours to get my van on a truck and towed back. It was about 10 o'clock when I got back. No, it wasn't 10 o'clock. It was earlier than that. But to me, that's kind of late. I finished up my day early yesterday. A little bit early yesterday. And I was hoping to get home earlier than that. But I spent today working on this van. I did all the tests with the relay. Did all the tests with the fuses, made sure it wasn't a situation with the battery. I charged my booster pack to 100%. It wasn't any of those things. All right, so after doing all those tests again, I was sure at that point it was a starter. Ran a wire from the battery to the solenoid terminal and try to start it. It didn't start. Unfortunately, it didn't start. So I knew without a doubt that it was the starter that was the problem. Now, I haven't changed the starter on this van since I bought it. So I'm going to guess that it probably wasn't changed, or wasn't changed in a long while. Went to AutoZone, got a rebuilt one, refurbished one for $175, popped it in, and immediately, just like that, it started up right away. So it was the starter that was the problem. I mean, what I made yesterday with that job I had, it kind of cost me, I really didn't make anything because of this situation. But it is what it is sometimes, guys. It is what it is sometimes, I'll probably just do a tax write-off on this whole entire situation. But I hope this situation, this video has helped you guys out. If it has, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and please leave your comments, guys. All right, take care.